Inside the offices of LinkedIn. So welcome everyone to another episode of The Future in 5. My name is Jacob Morgan. This is where I share my thoughts, ideas, and commentary on the future of work in 5 minutes or less. As you can see, I'm not alone today. I'm joined by a very special guest, and this is Pat Waters, who's the Chief Human Resource Officer of LinkedIn. Pat, thank you for joining me.
Oh, my pleasure.
So I just got a really cool tour of the LinkedIn offices, and most people, I was actually quite surprised going through it because it wasn't a wide open warehouse or a wide open space like most people would think. And you were giving me some very interesting insights around why you have certain, I don't want to call them cubes, but maybe you can describe the offices and why they are the way they are, because you shared some really cool insights with me that I think people would learn from.
All right, so what we try to do is not have a typical office space. So what we have is work locations. We have cubes-like feelings, but they're more like pods. We're a group of like-minded people solving like-minded problems, come together. So you'll have product, engineering, marketing, sometimes HR, all sitting together working on an issue. Right, cool. And so it's got to have a lot of flexibility, and depending on how long your sprint is, they will modify where they work and how they work.
Yeah.
So they'll add bean bags and a couch and some big screens and mobile things just to make it, usable and fun.
So why didn't you guys just go with that open office, everybody sits at just a random desk kind of vibe?
I think everyone loves choice. So our job is to provide choice of where you work and how you work. And ideally with facilities, Jim Morganson and I were saying, ideally what we're trying to find is that you love at least 3 different locations at LinkedIn where you like to hang out and do your best work. It could be the cafe, it could be the couch down the hallway, it could be my office, who knows, but you decide.
Yeah. But
you have a home, so to speak, of where you can lay your stuff down, but you have choices.
Yeah.
And so everything around us is to provide choice.
You also give some really cool insight around why you have, or I guess before it used to be cubicles that had solid walls, and you were talking to me about body language and the importance of seeing smiles. So can you share a little bit about what you told me a few minutes ago?
All right, so there's a lot of science around how we communicate to one another. Mm-hmm. So you are actually digesting data from me, 90% of my body language.
Yeah.
You're walking away with an impression of me and my energy, right? And then you're thinking about my words. So if you're thinking about creating a best place to work, right? If you're thinking about creating high energy and high creativity, you want humans to see each other.
Yeah.
A smile is contagious. So you lower the walls of the cube, and if you have a wall because you're worried about sound, you make glass.
Yeah.
Right? You want to see the human. You want to see when they're excited about something, and so that's what we try to do.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, you also shared some interesting insights around how many millennials you have working here, and I was shocked to learn that. So 70% of LinkedIn employees are millennials?
Yeah.
That's probably more than any other company that I have heard of or have interviewed or spoken to. So why is it that high? Is that on purpose or did that just happen? And what do you think about millennials in general?
I love millennials. I have 3 at home. So, woo! Yeah, not so much this. So
yeah.
Like, oh. But I think it's done by design and organically for LinkedIn, because if you look at our growth curve, when I started, we were only at 3,000 employees, a little over 3,000, about 2.5 years ago-ish. We're going to end this year around 9,000.
Wow.
And so if you're competing in the talent market and you're looking at, where to find the talent, where's the source, where's the availability. We do a lot of college recruiting, new college grads. We try to compete. We were sitting right next door to Google, right? So you got to find your niche.
Yeah, not easy.
Not easy. And so we have a high emphasis on training and development here. And so you can come in with some level of skill, but we'll close the gap on the other skills. And so it makes it very easy for millennials to come in and rock their stuff.
So what is it like to work at LinkedIn? What is the corporate culture like? Give people a sense of what it's like to be an employee here.
It's a lot of fun. So when I interviewed, I had a external perspective of what I thought I was going to find at LinkedIn. But when I came into the hallways, when I walked in and talked to the receptionist, the first overwhelming thought was that people believe in the vision and mission. Like everyone believed in where we're going. That's really unique, where they get excited, they smile, they light up. And I'm like, wow, they're drinking Kool-Aid here. And so I was excited about the Kool-Aid. I wanted to taste it. And then the second thing is, it's such a warm, helpful corporation company vibe. So people expect you not to know everything. They expect mistakes, and they go out of their way to help you. So when I joined, they're like, how can I help you? What do you need? Did you know this person? How, here's, let's go to lunch together. That's for everybody. It's not just because of me. And every time I talk to a new hire, I ask them a simple question. I go, tell me the surprise you had when joining LinkedIn from what we sold you and where what you got.
That's a good question.
Right? And did we meet your expectations? And they said, I was waiting for the shoe to drop. I was expecting something not to be what you promised, and I haven't felt the shoe drop yet. It's unreal.
That's a good thing. And you ask that how long?
60 to 90 days after start. And then I pulse them again probably 9 to 12 months after through our employee voice survey.
Okay. Now, we did a podcast interview, which was a whole hour, so I won't talk about some of those things again. But if people are interested in learning more about Pat and about LinkedIn, I highly recommend you listen to the podcast, which I'll link below. But maybe we could talk a little bit about what do you do at LinkedIn? So you're the Chief Human Resource Officer. What does that mean? What are you concerned about? What is your day-to-day like?
Wow. So I have responsibility for recruiting. So if you're growing this fast, 40% of our workforce has been hired in the last 18 months to a year.
That is crazy.
So huge growth. And we do all our own recruiting. So I have a massive recruiting arm, and we're constantly tweaking it and trying to be great at it.
So if you guys are looking for a job,
come call me.
Yeah.
And get connected on LinkedIn. And so recruiting's one of them. I care a lot about that. I care a lot about our talent brand and what does it stand for, to make sure it's authentic. What we sell to you as a customer and a product and a service. How do I treat my employees? Making sure it's congruent and authentic. I care about that. So working on that. I care about, I have compensation benefits, the employee experience arm. So our speaker series, how we celebrate life at LinkedIn.
I like that you say employee experience. I think that's a really important thing that most people don't think about. The experience word is lost.
Yeah, you have a life cycle from courting you, like I want you to work with me, and so we talk a lot, and then we finally decide to get married, quote, you get a job with me, and then how do you go through that life cycle with me? And I want that experience to be beautiful. And the reason why is that once you leave LinkedIn, you will be an ambassador for us. You might be a customer of mine. You will navigate LinkedIn for others, and I just think it pays it forward. So I care about your experience.
Very cool. So before we wrap up, is there anything about LinkedIn that most people don't know that you want to share, or about you that most people wouldn't know that you want to share?
About LinkedIn. I just think that LinkedIn is going so many amazing places. I love the acquisition that we just announced of lynda.com.
Yeah, that's huge.
Closing the skill gap.
It's huge.
Figuring out the nomenclature, the language of what is a skill and making it understood across all boundaries. I think that would be a magical moment for any company, any industry. So I'm excited about that. And from a future of work perspective, because we have 70% millennials, I think I am a canary in the coal mine, I being LinkedIn, about how this socially connected digital native generation operates and how do I have to change to adapt for them, right, to make them more effective. So it's been a great ride. I love LinkedIn. I love what I do. Yeah,
no, it sounds like a very exciting job and a company. And I think most people, when they think of these tech companies in the Bay Area, they think of, oh yeah, it's just fun, games. But I mean, you guys actually work really, really hard to get your jobs done. And you have a lot of really cool perks and benefits that go with it. But you still have to work really hard, and I think that's sort of important for people to realize that the perks come with accountability and responsibility to go with it.
There is a lot of passion about what we do. They have a lot of high, what I call discretionary effort. They go the extra yard to get their stuff done. I think they're highly intelligent, wildly curious, change adaptable workforce, and so providing them perks like the cafeteria that you walk through and all that is actually a productivity tool.
Yeah.
You get different people coming together and having random conversations. Creativity happens. Yeah. So there's work benefit.
Absolutely.
To us hanging out.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, that's it for this week's episode on The Future in 5. If you want to get access to more of these videos or the podcast, visit thefutureorganization.com. I also want to give a big thanks to my very special guest, Pat Waters, who's the Chief Human Resource Officer at LinkedIn. Pat, thank you very much.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. You guys have a great day.
I am at the corporate offices of LinkedIn. Let's go inside and take a look. By the way, that car over there is not mine. This is a view from their main lobby campus. I'm gonna go inside in just a little bit. So this is one of the floors over at LinkedIn. As you can see, counter to popular belief, it's not just a wide open space. There are some mid-level cubes as well. So this is another area of the LinkedIn offices. As you can see, it's not cubes, they're kind of like wide open bullpen type spaces. And this is Pat Waters, their chief of HR. And Pat was just telling me about how they structure their office space. So Pat, what were you just telling me?
Well, so they have a lot of flexibility. They can modularize this space and they can put different signs and couches and bean bags. They make it work so they can have like problems and like skills. And so you create a community amongst communities.
Very cool, and we can see some people meeting there, and there's some couches and some beanbag things floating around, so very cool space. So this is the LinkedIn cafe area. I know you guys can't smell it, but it smells amazing here. And then we're gonna walk around a little bit more. So I'm in the LinkedIn cafeteria right now, and they have pretty much every type of food that you can imagine. It's absolutely huge. I just had lunch with Pat Waters, who's the Chief Human Resource Officer, and she was explaining all sorts of things to me about why they do this and how they do this. So I'll be sharing more of that a little bit later. But for now, if you're hungry, this is definitely the place to go. So here's one area where you can get sandwiches, any kind that you want. Walk over here, you get all sorts of tasty Asian food. And they have a whole section for Indian food. They have a whole grill. There's a whole salad bar. Pretty much anything you can ask for or think of, you can get here. And what's really cool is there's a strong focus on healthy options, which I really like to see. So here's a pita bread, grilled salad, some spicy beef, various other options. Hummus, and yogurt. So this is the floor for product and engineering.
One of the many floors.
One of the many floors. So this is one of the many little private office spaces you can get access to if you want to work alone and get some privacy. This is a artist rendering of the history of LinkedIn. That's where Reid Hoffman, co-founder of LinkedIn, sits. And Jeff Weiner. And there's Pat Waters. Hey, are you interested in the future of work? If so, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get all the latest content on the future of work and stay up to date on all the latest trends and happenings. Not to mention, you will make me very, very happy. Make sure to subscribe.